Finally time to take a look at the robot Damashii ground type Gundam from the 08th MS team. This figure has been a long time coming. I've watched a lot of other people's reviews on this figure and I just wanted to get their take on it before I really gave my opinion on it. And yeah, so let's get into it. This is number 292 in the robot Damashii line. Man, that is a lot of action figures. And of course, as I said before, it is from the 08th MS team. Again, I'm not really digging the small windows. It's kind of annoying. You might as well just close up the whole box. But it is what it is. Taking a look at the side of the box, you see the ground Gundam standing nice and tall, looking very pretty indeed. The back of the box shows the figure in action, all its action poses, and a couple of features. And then taking a look on the opposite side, you see the accessories, again, posability, what else it comes with, and then of course it advertises the, effect parts box that's sold separately. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But yes, that is the ground type Gundam RX-79 G. Let's open the box up, take a look at the figure, and see what we're working with. Well, I gotta be honest, first impressions are everything, and this figure's not very disappointing. In fact, it reminds me a lot of the MSIA figure, and that's not just because it is the same mobile suit, but just because it's stiff, it's strong, it looks blocky where it's supposed to. And overall, that's very nice. I didn't want something that was stylized and looked like crap. I wanted something that fit that anime perfectly. And every so often, even though this is now the anime line of the robot Damashis, every so often you'll see something kind of not fitting with the overall design, and it just won't look that accurate. But this is one of them. This is a good one. This is overall a nice design. I like it a lot. Nice V-fin up top. In fact, I think it's a little, actually, yeah, that might be a little bigger than what I expected, but it's not bad. I like it a lot. Overall, the color looks great too. Let's see, the backpack is nice. This is actually one piece. So you don't have separate backpacks that you have to, change up to hold the storage storage backpack or whatever. It does fold open, just one large piece. That's cool. Less parts to go flying all over the place. It's stiff. It's nice and stiff instead of being all kind of loose and whatnot. One of the biggest issues with me and these robot Damashis these days is it feeling like it's really hollow, like they're just basically high-grade model kits with nothing inside. And so we're paying like X amount of dollars for these figures, and we're basically just getting the high-grade experience, but they're all put together and glued. And this one doesn't feel like that. It actually feels like a good solid figure. So that's a great big plus in my book. Anyways, enough with the figure for right now. Let's take a look at all those crazy, crazy accessories. Accessories are always kind of a hit or miss for me. And this one is kind of in the middle, which I'm really surprised at because I thought I was going to dislike the amount of accessories right off the bat. But now that they're in front of me, I'm not too disappointed, but I do wish there were more. I don't want to take them out of the shell just because there's so many. I will take a few out just to show you the more detailed stuff. But for right now, they're just going to stay in the plastic shell. Starting with the beam weaponry, of course, we get effect parts for those. You have effect parts for the beam sabers and for the, you can, I guess, use them for the beam rifle if they fit too, but you don't get a beam rifle with this figure. So there's that. You also get an extra V-fin. Gosh, how much have I missed having an extra V-fin? Thank you. Finally bringing that back, and that's appreciated. You get beam saber hilts, of course, 2 of them, because one has to be on each leg or calf or whatever. You get the classic ground Gundam machine gun with removable clip. We'll show that off closer a little later, you get a shield with 08th on it. You get the storage backpack, which I'll also show a little later. You get a, well, attachment for the machine gun to be stored inside the backpack. That's something that can be shown off a little later too. Hands. You get 4 extra sets. Now besides the beam saber holding hands, basically, that are already on the figure in the package, you get 2 open hands for posing, I would assume, and then 2 different types of trigger finger hands. And then of course you get that nice hand rack that always comes with these figures. Not a bad amount of accessories. I just, however, wish there was just that little bit more, just so it could justify the crazy price that this thing is set at. Now there are 2 more accessories that I left out, and that's simply because they're already in the storage container. One is an extra weapon rack that attaches to the inside of the container, and then you also get an extra weapon, which is, of course, the cannon. Everybody loves the cannon with the ground type Gundam. Everybody's seen that classic shot of the ground Gundam shooting off its cannon rifle, or whatever you want to call it. It's already inside the storage container. I disassembled it and put it inside. I really like the attention to detail with having to take everything apart and put it inside the storage container. However, it is a bitch putting it all in there and then wanting to take it out and then, you know, putting it back together. There are a lot of parts. Now, before I take that out of the container, I will note that you do and can do that with the machine gun as well. You can take it apart. You can take the barrel off. You can take, I think that's it. And then yeah, that's basically it. And you have a little slide where you can place the barrel right in there. I probably have it upside down or going in the wrong way. There we go. And then you can... Okay, I got it on there. I had the right idea. I just didn't execute it correctly. The rifle, the machine gun fits on there exactly how you would think. The barrel goes on the bottom, and the whole thing attaches to the whole frame itself. You can then store this, I think, on the inside as well. I can't remember if it fits in there with the rifle. Can't remember exactly where it goes, but let's see. Can you fit it in there at the same time? I think you can. Maybe, yes, you can. If you take out that clip, but pretty sure there's a way to fit everything in there all at once. Boom, there you go. Kind of looks messy. But yeah, you have to take everything apart with this thing, and that kind of sucks. I don't want to have to do that each time I want to display this guy with his different weapons. Just kind of seems like doing a little too much, but you know, some people will like that. It is what it is. All right, let's move on. The sun's starting to go down, so I need a little bit more light, and I wanted to show you guys the cannon in its complete form. And to be honest, yeah, I'm not a fan of the cannon at all. Not because it isn't cool, but because of all the work you have to do to set it up. This thing comes in 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 pieces to put this thing inside the storage container. Not fun at all, because you have the possibility of this thing breaking. And while it is nicely designed and looks very cool in the mobile suit's hands, yeah, that's never a good idea for me to have something that breaks apart. You could possibly lose pieces, and on top of that, this thing feels kind of cheap. But that's how all Robot Damashii accessories have been feeling for a while to me. Yeah, so let's go back to the figure itself. Take a look at that shield and some cool little features that are on the mobile suit itself. The shield is really nothing to write home about. I'm sure you can fit some crazy effect part accessories on this thing and it'll look cool, but really it's just a basic shield for the ground Gundam. The one thing I will note though is that you don't get this thing as a blank shield. You get it with the 08th MS numbers on there, and a lot of people will be like, oh, well, what's the big deal there? Well, the fact that you can't army build with these figures. You're constantly stuck on 08th. And that's been a big gripe for me for many years with these mobile suits, with the mass production suits, is that they're not coming with, like, you know, a sheet of numbers for you to designate. You know, it would have been cool if this thing was blank and then you could either choose to put 08th or you could put 04th or whatever, 02nd. That way you have different teams. Hell, that would have made people buy more, Bandai. That's like, come on. That's growing your consumer base, or that's just a good idea in general. But they didn't do that. Anyways, it comes with a basic attachment for the forearm on the mobile suit. You can attach it through a peg in the forearm, like so, and you can actually extend it out too. So that's pretty cool. Not too shabby there. Again, though, I am a little pissed that you can't make up more teams. But here's something that might make up for that lack of judgment there, and it is something that I really wish the MSIA version had, and I'm sure many of you, which is storage space for the beam saber hilts. Now, if you're familiar with this suit, then you'll know that the beam sabers are held within the calves of the mobile suit's legs. And holy crap, we got it with the high grade, and finally we get it with the robot Damashii. Well, not finally, and finally we get the fucking figure in general. But it is very cool to see it finally in figure form. However, this sucker is hard to pull back out. You have to have some nails, and then you gotta pull. But there it is. Very nice little feature that comes with it. I kind of feel like the beam saber hilts are a little too small, in my opinion, but that's just it, my opinion. Very cool. You get it with both sides as well. A little hard to pull out, but very nice to have. I love that a lot. I don't know. It's the little things in life that make things so great. But yeah, again, really small beam saber hilt. And you know, since we're on the beam saber hilt, we'll go ahead and show off those effect parts. You get 3 to 4, possibly 4, 3.5 different effect parts. Now, of course, you will always get your slashing action effect part. That's pretty standard if you want to pose them like that. But you get 2 different beam saber thickness effect parts. That is really off-putting to say. I just thought of it right now. Yeah. Anyways, you get 2 thicknesses. You get this skinny version, and then you get this big ol' thick bastard right here. And it doesn't work for me with the thick one because, well, it just doesn't look right. But possibly, to make it better, you have this effect part that is kind of like, I don't know, it just helps it, I guess. Makes it seem more badass, but there you go. It just seems overly sized for no reason. Let's go ahead and throw this guy back up a little bit. Yeah, it just seems like it's a little too big. Now let's go ahead and remove it. Let's put in a smaller version hilt or beam saber. It actually doesn't really want to fit in there too well, but yeah, I don't know. Doesn't do it for me. Let's go ahead and try it without that extra piece. Like so. Yeah, that looks correct. That looks like the correct size. Now for me, this beam saber blade design doesn't mesh well. I think that it should have been a lot skinnier, a lot thinner. In fact, it didn't have to have all these ridges on it. I don't know. I think they're overdoing it. Maybe they just wanted to get, you know, cheap about it and use the same effect parts that they have with the others. But overall, I mean, it's cool that you have options, and that's always a plus. Now, normally I'd be showing you guys the articulation of this figure, but I am going to be getting the desert type version in the mail this week. so I don't want to overdo it. Plus, I want to save that stuff for the next video when I show off that figure, as well as comparing it to the Zaku from the same series and then other figures as well. So we're going to cut it short and go straight to the final thoughts. However, you will see that I attached the storage container onto the backpack, snaps in there fairly easily, and it seems pretty secure. So that's a nice little add-on right there. Now, let's get to the meat and taters of this. Is this figure worth buying? Of course. That's a stupid fucking question. This figure is awesome. However, there are just some slight tweaks that they could have done to make it over the top awesome. And let's just get through that right now. Number one, I already said it. This thing should have came with a sticker sheet. Oh my God. Can you imagine making mass armies, all the MSIA, or all the 08th team units, 04, 02, whatever, with that sticker sheet having a blank shield? That would have been awesome. Very awesome indeed. However, you know, we didn't get that. The only other negative, or a couple of negatives are, well, the breaking apart of the weapons. I'm not entirely for it. Now, of course, it wasn't an issue when it was on the MSIA, but those weren't as fragile. This is really fragile plastic, in my opinion. This is high-grade plastic, and, you know, even if it doesn't break, even if, you know, you only bend it a little bit, those stress marks just look so damn ugly on these figures, and they never work out. Now, on top of that, with these figures being, having breakable weapons coming apart, you know, they get loose over time. In fact, the machine gun clip does not want to stay in place. The machine gun clips on the ground Gundam, on the skirt armor, do not want to stay in place. It is shitty. That's a real big letdown. I really wish that wasn't how that is. However, I will note that it is cool that you can store everything inside the container. That's really nice. They thought about it. Thank you that it's, you know, not just thrown in there like the old MSIA version. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of everything breaking apart. Other than that, I guess the beam effect parts, man, I mean, if you had to reuse parts, go for it. But I kind of wish they were just a little slimmer and a little different, not just the same old, same old. Other than that, those are my only negatives. This figure is really awesome. And because I didn't show, or even though I didn't show the articulation, take my word for it, it is decent. It is good. You can get a lot of poses out of it. Aside from that, it is fairly accurate to the mobile suit itself. It's thick where it should be. It's stiff where it should be. It doesn't flop around. Man, this is turning or sounding like a really dirty video. But it is a good, solid figure. For the price point, man, I really wish it was lower, but I understand these times being the way they are, things are going to get expensive, but I just miss those old days where figures were 25 to 30 bucks. But this is a cool figure. I definitely recommend getting it, and let me know what you think. Did you like it? Did you not? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Hit like, dislike, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I can't wait to show you guys the desert type. It is coming up soon. It is in the mail. I have the tracking number. Yes, soon. And then the Goof Custom. Anyways, see you guys later. Take care. Bye.